Hello, I'm Laura and welcome to Modo 15.0. In this quick clip, I'll be going through the major UI changes we've made to the Mesh Fusion toolset to simplify and reorganize the Fusion panel for the benefit of new and old Modo users alike. So let's walk through these changes together, starting from the top of the panel. The first two buttons nestled under the Create Fusion subheading aren't new to Modo 15.0. And while their contents haven't received any significant changes this release, we have improved their ease of use. We've renamed the Cubic Geometry preset browser to Fusion Ready Presets to help clarify their intended purpose. This preset browser gives you quick access to many items utilised for the Mesh Fusion workflow. We've also changed the default behaviour of the New Fusion button to immediately create a New Fusion item on click, using the default New Fusion properties. You can access and change the default properties for New Fusion items at any time by holding down the Alt key, which opens the New Fusion Properties pop-up menu. Fusion Modes is one of the more front-facing changes to the Mesh Fusion UI. Since the new modes are a huge change to Mesh Fusion, I'll cover them in detail in separate videos you can find on the Foundry website. For now, I'll explain that the Select Source and Edit Attributes buttons are modes comparable to Modo's standard component modes. So depending on what you want to do in Mesh Fusion, you will enter either one of these modes. Fusion modes also appear in the toolbar above the 3D viewport when you select a Mesh Fusion item. This way you'll have constant visibility on your active mode without being restricted to the Fusion panel. The Setmesh Role section of the Fusion panel is for all the various standard roles and also surface strip roles. This remains largely unchanged. The 6 available buttons allow you to set an additive, subtractive or intersecting role for your source mesh or your surface strip. We have moved the Clear Mesh Role option to below these buttons because Clear Mesh Role now also affects surface strips. The Viewport Shading Preset subheading has a drop-down menu full of 3D viewport presets optimised for the Mesh Fusion workflow. The polygon opacity setting is there for you to control the opacity of visible source meshes. But be aware it's only compatible with the Advanced Viewport and the Advanced Viewport presets. Lastly, under the Additional Tools subheading is an option to select all source meshes. And the Fusion Utilities pop-up menu, which contains a selection of useful tools and commands for users who are more familiar with Mesh Fusion. If you'd like to know more about the Fusion Utilities toolset and how it can be used in the new Mesh Fusion workflow, be sure to check out our online Modo documentation, which covers each tool shown here in detail.